Welcome to the Good Dudes Podcast with Aaron James and Logan Bean.
Where each week we're going to talk through the ins and outs of everyday life through a Christian perspective.
So let's do it.
My man, Aaron James.
What's going on, Logan?
It's episode number 4.
Oh, I love how we never know how to start these things.
No.
And that
so
was funny. That was good. That was a good one.
Go
though.
for it, man.
I like it.
Dude,
I like it. Man stuff.
fan stuff.
What does that mean?
Dude, it means mowing and grilling and shooting guns, I think.
So to us, that's what it means. No, I think it's funny because, like, when I think of man stuff, you know, we hear for this topic, the first thing that pops in my head is like tool time. You know,
Yeah.
But then like even his newest show, Last Man Standing, like he owns a
It's
like an outdoor shop,
store, yeah.
Outdoor Man or whatever. Like, yeah, I love that show.
Yeah, it's good.
So funny.
Yeah.
I love you know, how much of TV shows and stuff like make fun of men or whatever, like, you know, all the dumb things that we do, but at the same time, we can't deny any of it because they're like, yeah, that's actually pretty close.
I can see that. I would think the exact same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, no one's blaming them. No one's saying, we don't do that. No, we're all like, yeah, that is exactly what I'm thinking. And if I could do it, that's exactly what I would do all the time.
Even like the little comments that he makes and stuff like that.
I know.
It's hilarious.
There's so many of them that like go through my head all the time. And I'm just like, if I say this, I'm going to get in trouble. I can't say that, you know, and trying to like bridge yourself.
What is that on? What can I watch that on?
I think it's on Netflix.
Is it on Netflix?
It was. I think it still is. I don't know. I don't know if it still is or not. It was for a while. That's where I watched it.
I need to rewatch through some of it.
But like, they're still coming out with seasons. Like, it's still running. It's a running TV show.
Oh, didn't somebody take them over? Like, they were going to get canceled or something, and then somebody took them over?
Yeah.
Something like that?
Yeah. You know, and Tim Allen could pay for whatever he wants to, I'm sure. But, like, the truck in it, you know, the green truck, that's his.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's his truck.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
That's pretty awesome. He's a huge car guy, like him and Jay Leno, like big car guys. But like when he talks about cars on that like TV show, he actually knows like a lot about cars. Like he rebuilds them and does all kinds of stuff.
Yeah,
it's super interesting.
He's pretty accurate as far as that's how he is. And
that is exactly how he is in real life. Yeah, and the only thing that's not is the religious side of things. And it's not that he's not religious. He just doesn't like, I guess, really say what he fully believes in. You know, he believes in the Creator, but I think in one interview I saw with him, he equates him to like the toy maker, if that makes sense. Like, so like just the Creator, like in the same sense of like the man stuff. Like he is in tool time, he makes stuff and builds stuff. He equates God to that. Like there is a Creator, there's somebody doing the inner workings that has to fix these things and do these things. And
it's almost like an agnostic view. I believe something's there, but
but I don't know. I think he's probably more like Christian and religious than he leads on. I think he just like kind of keeps some of it private.
Got you.
You know, and he doesn't want to. He wants to admit that there's something there, but he doesn't want to like pigeonhole himself into one thing. Even though all his characters on all his TV shows have pigeonholed himself into something. So there's a lot of people that believe he is. You know, if they don't, you know, listen to interviews with him and stuff.
I can see that. Yeah, man.
But he's one of the guys that like was really cool because during the pandemic and everything, he built his own studio at his house. So he was like, he realized he was going to be on all these TV shows and recording and everything. And so he was like, I need to know what I'm doing. And so he released this whole interview thing about like him building out a room in his house as a studio. But he would be like, I called my sound guy, I called my lighting guy, I called my audio, you know, all these people, set designer. And he goes, and I had them order me stuff like, hey, what would you use for this? Because he was like, they know. And he was like, I paid them to buy my stuff. Like, so it was cool because he was like, he wanted it done professionally. And he was really one of the first people to get it done professionally. But he called everybody. He didn't do his own. He was like, I don't know.
Right.
He goes, I literally, big money, you know, as an actor and as my voice, he goes, I don't know anything about set design or, you know, audio. I just know the bare minimum. But there's experts out there that know what the good stuff is. Yeah. So he did that, used them, and built his own studio.
Wow.
And it's super cool.
That's awesome. I'll have to look at that. I haven't seen it.
So we were talking, we had already planned this episode and everything. And then the other day, Granger Smith released a video.
Oh, man. That's
so cool. And I don't really know that there's a purpose to it other than it's just something that, you know, he was passionate about and wanted. But it's the poem If by Rudyard Kipling. Is that right?
Rudyard, something.
However you say it. Kipling. It's called If. And it's about like basically a boy and his father and like growing up and becoming a man and all kinds of things. It's super cool. So if you haven't seen it, go to his channel, watch it. And I mean, it is really, really cool and just different perspective on things. What I love is they did it cinematically. Mm-hmm. So like he spent the time with his videographer to like really go out and record it, and then he did the audio for it, and like it's just super cool, super sentimental. A lot, a guy and his dad. And
oh yeah,
I think a lot of the man stuff, that we think of and that we talk about. I mean, all this stuff my dad taught me how to do, and so that's a super big aspect for me. Is like I watch my dad do all this stuff.
Yeah,
and
and there's been especially a lot more recent now that I'm out of the house and stuff like that something will come up with, whether it's like a mower or my truck, and I'm just like, I know that my dad taught me this, but when I was younger I was like, whatever, attention. Like I just want to go do this or that. And now I actually I sent him a text the other day because I was working on my truck, and I was like, I really wish I would have paid more attention to this. But yeah, I'm really starting to like Granger Smith stuff more and more. You've really put me onto and stuff. And that video was just, it sat with me for a little bit because I can relate to it. And, it's, I saw my dad in a lot of it. And so it puts it in perspective where, especially today.
Oh yeah. Like I was out front playing catch and playing baseball and stuff, and like that really hit to me because I was like, I remember so many nights out front in the front yard playing catch with my dad and my brother and just all the fun stuff that was. But like a lot of that, talking about man stuff today, a lot of the topics we're gonna get into, I mean, I did with my dad, and I watched my dad do it and lead out doing it, and it was just always funny because my dad. Like he's a computer guy for ArcBest and the ABF Trucking Company. Yeah. And so like, growing up, they used to have the rule of like you had to wear slacks and a button up and a tie and everything. You had to be the businessman. Yeah. And then since then, now it's a whole lot more laid back. And so it's kind of funny because my brother works for him now, and like they can wear jeans and a polo, and that's, dressing up for them. Yeah. But I remember him doing that throughout the week. And then on the weekend, we'd go hunting, and I'd see like this total opposite. Like my dad's all of a sudden more of a redneck, and which, I mean, my dad's driving around in a 20-year-old Chevy Silverado and getting out of it in button up and a tie, Yeah. But then here comes the weekend. He's loading the four-wheeler up and hauling it around, and camo and these old raggedy T-shirts and his cargo shorts. And my dad, 100% cargo shorts. Oh yeah, he is that dad. And New Balance, the white New Balance. Yeah, if my dad had shorts, it's cargo shorts, and maybe it's two pairs. Yeah, both of them are camo. Yes. One's camo, one's jeans.
Camo. Yeah. Yep. Got the tall white socks.
Yeah, and like hats, and he's had the same hat forever, and like he might get a new one every now and then, but he won't wear it. Like,
if it is, it's like a Christmas present, or it's because the hat's literally torn to shreds and you can't wear it anymore.
Can't even put it on anymore. Yep. That's funny. So we got a bunch of different kind of subtopics today, but I think we're going to start with the one that I think we can talk the most about, which is hunting. Are you a big hunter?
I am. Mainly deer hunting. I didn't grow up really duck hunting.
Yeah, me either.
And I've heard people say that it's like the funnest kind of hunt they do, and I get it, but I just haven't done it yet. Yeah. But I love deer hunting, man. Just especially the work that you get to put into it, and then the reward. Oh, yeah. It's one thing just to go out there and to kill something, and that's cool and stuff, but the preparation and everything, it just makes it so much more better. And I think that's what's the addicting part is to me. Yeah. Is knowing that, you did the research, you scouted out the land, and all this other stuff. And then once you finally see it, it just makes it so much better. So, it's so worth it.
Yeah. You start getting those trail cam pics in, and you're like, oh, here it comes.
Yeah. And now they got the apps where you can get the pictures immediately to your phone.
Oh my goodness.
Like, I'm going to be there right now.
I don't have any, and I won't want. And I know guys that do, and they'll like, I've seen guys leave stands before and go like, oh, big boys at the other stand, gotta go get them, try and head them off real quick, you know. I mean, no, for me, like, I was the same way. Like, we didn't duck hunt as a kid, or we would dove hunt every now and then, but very rare occasions. Yeah. But my dad was always like, I don't want to go stand out in the freezing cold rain and water and just freeze my tail off. And I always thought that's what it was. And then a couple years ago, one of my buddies asked me to go with him, and I did, just not really knowing. And I was like, this is pretty awesome. Really? This is pretty fun. Yeah. So I got bit by the bug. And so now it's like trying to find places. I'm slowly getting into it, but it's super fun. And to me, it's just like more hunting, because a lot of what I've done is always like modern gun, rifle hunting, not really a whole lot of bow hunting. So season's only, 2 months long. Yep. There's not really a whole lot of time you get, but that's some of my favorite time of the year. So I've always looked at like other stuff as, okay, what else can I do to get back out there and get hunting again? Yeah. And even till this day, starting out from when I could go out by myself until today, that I'll go squirrel hunting just because you can go out there, you get a shoot, you can go with friends, and you're just out there, just put yourself out there and you just have a good time. So you talked about the addicting thing as being the work, and I definitely agree with that, just seeing the rewards of it. For me though, one of my favorite things is I hunt on a lease, and we have a hunting club. And so it's a bunch of guys that my dad went to high school with that decided to start leasing the land around one of their houses. And so, like, it's just all his buddies from high school. And it's so funny to watch them, because it's like, in the back of my mind, I go, I would love to have this. Yeah. Like, all my buddies be like, every year, we get to see each other and hang out, even if it's just a couple months, whatever it is. But like, just go hang out and hunt, and all the stories come up, and just, it's like, their friendship is like, it never skipped a beat. Right. But then because I've grown up with it, well, now I get to be part of it too, and I get to, see it. And so, like, the guys, and just the guys that you can look up to. I mean, one of them's a senator or congressman. Really? Congressman. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. And for a while, like, he had a picture of me and him and my deer on his Facebook page. Really? Yeah. Because the deer that's hanging on my wall. The day I killed it, he was there, and he was like, "Hey, just get a picture," because he was campaigning or whatever, and so he was, trying to show that he hunts, and he's 2A and everything, and so he posted on there. But it was pretty cool. Like, and even still, I mean, we're not in a district that I can vote for him. We're just outside of it, but I hear his commercials all the time, and I'm always like, "That's cool. Like, that's neat. That's cool." And that's true. It provides like a common ground to where you can kind of just go back to your roots and be. I don't know. It's really cool. It's more than just going out and killing something. For sure. And that's such a small part of it. And I mean, when I was a kid, that was such a big part of it, because all I want to do was go kill. Now I'm like, I just want to go see them. I want to go watch them walk and them not know I'm there. And that's so cool. And just like, for me, just to see the sunrise in the morning, like sun coming through the trees, and watch the ground as it changes, and just sit there and in solitude. I mean, there's no better feeling to me than watching the sun come up in through the trees and the steam and everything. And it's just even so cool. When you're sitting there and you're freezing your tail off, and it's like, I just want to be. That's still so cool. In my bed. Now, I also have to say though, some of the best naps I've ever had. Man, you get a crisp day toward the end of November. Ooh. That warm sun's beating off you. You just had a big old lunch full of like roast beef sandwich or something, or a big bowl of chili, deer chili. Oh my gosh! And you go back up there and sit in that stand about 2:00, and that sun's beating down, but it's still cool. Still a little bit chilly. Oh man, that's the best. You got you hear the wind going through the trees and the birds in the distance, and nothing better. You just close your eyes for a second. Then you hear that twig snap. And I mean, you basically have a heart attack because you're like, oh my gosh, I was asleep. What did I miss? What's out here? Crazy. That's actually how I killed my first deer. Me and my dad were on Poto Mountain. Yeah. And we'd hunted all morning, and it was like 2:00. And so we sat down and we opened a bag of beef jerky, and we were just sitting there talking and just sitting on the ground in the open, kind of at the top of the mountain. And we hear just like footsteps, and Dad's like, oh, we got somebody coming up on us, and he was about to talk to him. I was like, what if it's a deer? And so we sat there, and sure enough, it was a deer, and he was chasing a doe. Yeah. And
it was cool because it was just unexpected. Me and Dad were just sitting there talking, and this deer comes, and he's like, okay, I'm gonna make a noise. I'm gonna whistle, and when I whistle, he's gonna stop. Pow! I shot my gun in the middle of his sentence. I was like, sorry, Dad, I had a good shot.
Sorry, he stopped. I'm good.
I was like, I didn't want to miss the opportunity.
That's so
he
funny.
didn't even get a whistle or anything like that. But yeah, and it's hunting is, like I said earlier, there's just so much more that goes into it, and I can, like you said, I can go out and not see a thing, and have a great day.
Have a great week. I mean, last year I went out for a week. I took a week off, week of vacation, and was out there all week. And I think I saw 5 deer the whole week, and I was like, "This is great. It's a great time. Had so much fun."
Yeah.
But talking about first deer stories, so my dad, I mean, God bless the dude. Like, if you don't know, I have a twin brother. And so, like, there's 2 of us. So anything he did, man, he had to take both of us most of the time. There were times where, like, my brother wouldn't go or I wouldn't go. Mainly my brother. I almost always went if I could go. And, but anyways, like, he would have to take both of us. So there'd be 3 of us tromping through the woods, you know. And we had this, still have it, I mean, this 2-man ladder stand. And what my dad would do was he'd put a harness on the tree under the seat. And so one of us would sit up there with him on the bench, and then one of us would sit between his legs clicked in. Now, and you would sit there and you'd have to look through like the mesh covering on the stand, you know. And so you'd be sitting there, but the hardest part about it was like you couldn't swing your legs. And I remember my dad kicking me like with his heel, like, "Hey, quit swinging your legs, something's coming up." But so my dad had my brother and I, and we're in the same stand, and I was up. We shared one gun, you know, or my dad had his gun and we had our gun. And so I remember it's my turn with the gun. I'm sitting up there. We'd switch every hour or so, and out walks this little forked horn, and I decided I was going to shoot it. And so I shoot it and I drop it. I mean, he drops dead in his tracks. Like, which, I mean, we had a little 243, you know, and we had shot most of our lives at this point, but like, we're like 10 years old maybe. And my dad was like, I've rarely seen one drop. Like, he goes, most of the time you have to go to track it, you know, and he goes, I almost never see one drop. And, you know, we're celebrating everything, you know, and so.
Oh, yeah, you got that buck fever going.
Yeah. And my dad's like, well, they're moving. Let's just sit here and let's wait a little while. So me and my brother switched spots. 20 minutes later.
No way.
What we thought was a doe ended up being a button buck, but it walked out a big looking doe. It would have been a big doe, you know, but a little button buck.
Been there.
Walks out, and my brother shoots it, drops it. 2 deer back to back in less than 30 minutes, and we dropped both of them out of the same stand, same rifle, everything. We dropped both of them.
Man, I bet your dad was pretty proud.
Oh, it was awesome. Like, it was super cool, and like, you know, he goes, gets the side by side, and loads them both up, and then we ride out of there and everything. And
that was your first?
Yeah.
Was that his first deer?
Yeah, that was both our first deer.
Are you serious?
Same day, less than 30 minutes apart,
day.
Same gun, everything.
What a day.
And we roll up back to camp, you know, with all these guys, because my dad had gotten on the CB radio and was like, "Hey, we've got a story for you guys," you know. And we roll back into like the guy's house and you know, skin it and clean it and everything, and everybody's standing there like, what? Are y'all for real? Like, y'all both just killed these deer? Like,
that's insane.
It was hilarious. It was awesome. Like, it was super cool. But yeah, I mean,
what a way to kill a first deer.
What a way to get a first deer down, man.
And the fact that yours was
mine was bigger.
Yeah.
Mine was bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had a little forked horn. He just had a little button buck. Still has it. I mean, he still got it, and I've still got mine, you know, mounted and everything. So it's pretty cool.
That's cool, man.
So what about biggest deer? So have you killed a lot of deer?
I mean, no, not really.
Okay.
I killed that one. I think I was 13 at the time, and that was a 5-point. Then I think a couple years after that, it was like at the very end of the season. Might have even been the last day. I was out behind my house and I was in my stand, and I knew that there were a lot of doe that always came through. And so I was like, I'm just, you know, I got to get some meat. And so there was a group of 3 of them, and there was one at the front. It was okay. The one in the middle was just a little bit bigger, and the one in the end was smaller. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to wait till I can get a good shot on that middle one.
Sure.
And so I do, and I dropped that one. And so I was just like so pumped, and I was calling everybody. My poppy lived right down the hill. And so we come up there, and I'm just so excited.
Yeah.
And my puppy's checking it out, and he's got the legs, and he's like, Logan,
we got a problem here, bud.
I don't think does are supposed to have these. I was like, what are you talking about? I was like, no.
You felt like a doe that day.
I'm telling you, like, it was like that. And I was like, good grief. Of course, of the three I shoot, it's that one.
Always.
And then I guess it was 2 years ago, me and my buddy, and this is, the first one will always be awesome because I was with my dad, and your first year is always going to be cool. But the last one that I actually killed, it was cool because it was on my buddy's parents. He's got a bunch of land up towards Cedarville, but it's probably been like the most like put the time in and the reward. I chose where I wanted to put my little tripod stand and stuff like that and everything like that. We set cameras up, watched them, and it was opening day. And I like maybe 30 minutes after getting in my stand. No, I was 30 minutes after dark or after light came up. And here comes this 10-point just coming across, and he's on a trail. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I wasn't expecting it. And he's probably 40 yards away, not very far. And I'm using my 270. Yeah. And so,
not a problem.
Yeah. But so I pull my gun up, and he's walking. I was like, I got to zoom out because he was so close. Yeah. And so, but I actually accidentally zoomed in. And so all I had kind of was like, I could see his neck and his ribs and just that general direction. And he was moving quick. So I was like, meh. And he just like stopped, and I shot. And that's the last one I killed, and that's the biggest one I killed.
There you go. Hey.
But it was cool because like he's like, dude, we just got in, what are you talking about? We just got out of here. I was like, bro, I just killed the 10
I just
point,
did
man.
it. I got the biggest one.
Let's go. And
he's like, all right. That's really similar to my biggest one. Like, I was on a stand that's in like the curve of a road, so the road goes all the way, a big U shape around you, and it was. I remember getting in there really early and like dark, and it gets light and everything. And I remember looking out there and being like, man, that really looks like a deer, but that also really looks like a bush. I mean, if you're a hunter, you've been there when you're like, you're sitting there waiting just to find out like if it moves, and the breeze will move it, and you still can't tell, and you're just super hopeful that it is a deer and not just a branch.
Is that an antler?
Yeah, exactly. Did it move? I can't tell.
Pretty sure that was a tail.
Your eyes are you're trying to find the body, but you really can't. And I remember just sitting there watching it, and finally it got light enough, and I was like, oh my gosh, it really is a buck. Like, I surprised myself, and I was like, oh my goodness. And so he gets up, starts walking, and I shoot him, and he takes off running, and I was like, man, because like for the longest time, like every deer I shot, I dropped. I don't know, just 243 makes a big old hole. Yeah. And it's hard to, deal with. And so many of my deer had dropped, and I wasn't used to them, that when they did run away, a lot of times I would get kind of like down, like, maybe I missed or whatever, and so my dad comes, we go looking for it, and he's like, no, you're good. and me being colorblind, like I can't track blood like at all almost. And so it's really, really hard for me to see. And he was like, you really can't see that? And he goes, dude, it looks like somebody took like a bucket of like paint and like just threw it out.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, oh sweet. And I had no idea, and we follow it, and it had died leaning up against another stand.
Really?
Like there was another stand that was out basically in front of me, just another way you could hunt the same field thing. And it was leaned up against the tree with that stand on it.
That's cool.
It was really funny. I was like, I'm glad nobody was in there, because I ended up being like I think it's a 13, but scored 138, 140.
Is that the one in there?
Yeah. That's one
awesome.
there.
That's a good deer, dude.
Yeah, it was a big deer. I mean, I was 15, I think. And I mean, I was like, oh, yeah. But since that one, I think I've only killed like one smaller buck. I really haven't killed many bucks. But, I've also gotten to the point where now that I am kind of out on my own, doe patrol is not a bad thing.
No.
Whatever you got to do to get some meat in the freezer.
Deer is so tasty.
Oh, my goodness. And there's people that are like, oh, I don't like deer. You're like, oh, you just haven't had it cooked my way. And I agree, sure. But, I mean, we grind a lot of ours up, and I promise you cannot tell it. I've done it before where like made tacos or made spaghetti and been not told people that it was deer meat, and then later you tell them and they're like, oh, I couldn't even tell it. And I was like, I know. Like
that's good stuff. Get the back straps going.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
dude. Oof.
Throw some back straps on the grill, some onions, bell peppers, or even better, fry it up with some biscuits and gravy. Oh man, you talk about some good eating.
Ooh, a little bit of deer sausage.
It's good stuff. Oh yeah, for sure.
I'm hungry now.
But I was trying to think, too, what other like funny stories, I've got. And there are tons.
Oh yeah.
I mean, if you're out in the woods at all with a bunch of guys, it's gonna be a fun time.
Bound to have some good stories.
Bound to. I mean, we one of my other favorites is we went duck hunting a couple years ago, and out on public land, but we knew that like where we wanted to go, it was basically one road in, one road out. And so if we could basically block that road and let somebody know that we were there, then we could hunt it and nobody else would be around. So we pull up to the spot like where knew we had to park the truck to where nobody else would mess with us. And the guy who was like taking us out there was like, we gotta get there early so we can block it off. He goes, so I'm gonna bring my grill and we're gonna make breakfast out there before we go hunt. So it's like, he was like, we gotta get out there early. So it's like 2 a.m. and we're sitting out in the middle of this field on the truck with a little skillet, a little gas stove skillet, making biscuits and gravy and eggs. Like, I just remember being out there going, it's like 2 a.m. and we're like, what are we doing? Like, it's not gonna get sun for like a long time. And he's like, well, you gotta get out here early.
Yeah, it's gotta be, man.
I remember like we walked in
ahead.
and we're all on waders and everything, and we ended up hunting off a bank. Like we weren't in the water really at all. And when we get out there and we get everything set up, we're like, oh, we still have an hour before sunlight. And I was like, oh, okay.
Nice.
So again, one of the best naps I've ever had was out there. You're bundled up, just laying on the rocks like, this is nice. But that was a good time.
You come to and you're like, oh.
Fun. Yeah, come to and you don't realize where you're at and it's just pitch black outside. Yeah, it's great.
Oh, yeah. So, funny story. So, is when I first started deer hunting. I was probably, I don't know, about to say around 8. The first time I was like able to shoot a deer and confident and stuff like that. And so it was me and my dad and my poppy had built a little platform on a big cedar tree that he's got on his land, and we're sitting there, and he's right here to the left of me, and I'm kind of a little bit, I think I was on a stool or something like that, but I was a little bit higher than he was. Well, we got these lanes. There's like a lane here, a lane straight, and a lane left. And while we're sitting there, and here comes this little 6-point, and I'm just, I got the buck fever, and I'm just like shaking and stuff like that, and it comes right up, passes the first lane, passes the second lane, and right here, I guess it smelled us, heard us or something, and it just stops and looks at us for like 5 seconds, and my dad hands me my little 20 gauge that I had at the time, and he was like, shoot the deer. I was like, Dad, I can't. I was like, shoot the deer, Logan. Dad, I can't. Logan, shoot the deer. And the deer takes off. And he's like, why didn't you shoot? I was like, the strap's over the sights. And granted, it was probably close enough to where I could have made the shot. Could have done it. But I was, I've never shot a deer before, and I couldn't see down and I remember sitting bawling because I was so amped and I was just shaking, and first time seeing a deer when I was hunting, and my dad was just like so sick because when he handed it to me, the strap was over the sights. And I always remember that because I don't think I've ever been more upset over anything in my whole life.
It's hard missing that first one. Oh, and the first time you miss a deer, I mean, I think that's really the true test of like, are you a killer or are you a like hunter? And that's whether or not you like get, physically sick when you miss a deer or when you can't find a deer. Nothing to me is worse than if I feel like I made a good shot and I can't find the deer. Nothing is worse.
Oh, no doubt. It's the worst feeling ever.
It's terrible. It's pretty bad.
It's bad. Almost like losing a fish right at the bank.
No
right
joke.
At the bank.
Or when, like, I know a lot of guys tournament fishing, and then when you get it back to the weigh-in and it's dead, you're like, oh gosh. Like, especially if it's a bigger bass, and you're like, this thing could have lived so much longer. Like, yeah, for sure. So, are you a pond guy or a lake guy, or a river guy?
I would have to say I'm probably a lake guy.
A lake guy? I think I am too.
Ponds are fun.
Yeah.
But
you got to know the right pond to go to.
Yeah.
I spent way too many time fishing in a pond to have some old man walk up and go, there ain't no fish in this pond, boy. I'd be like, oh, thanks.
Yeah. Or you
like,
hear stories.
Away.
Well, when I worked at Lowe's, it was built on just a big pasture, and they kept a little pond, and it's right behind Lowe's. And so I worked there for, gosh, I don't know, a few years.
Yeah.
And I always heard people, oh yeah, well, I heard caught a 10-pounder out there, caught a, and stuff like, and whatever, 10 pounds and stuff like that. But the fact that people are making stories, I'm like, I gotta know if there's at least some kind of fish in there.
Yeah.
So me and my buddy went there after work and
couldn't find anything. Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
And so
it's hard, but no. So growing up, I was a huge guy. Like we had a bass boat, we had a a camper on Lake Washita, and we would go all the time during the summer, ski and fish and all that. And but yeah, we used to fish quite a bit, But my dad ended up selling our boat right before we turned 16. So Brett and I are 15, and he sells our boat, and we were like, thanks, Dad. We just now got to a point where we could have taken it out by ourselves or something. And it's fine. It's no big deal. But it was just funny because I was always like, and the complaint was that we didn't use it enough.
Yeah.
It was probably true.
Yeah.
And probably I wouldn't have had the money to put gas in it anyways. But still, I was like, okay. But what he did do was he sold it and we bought kayaks.
Oh, okay.
So we started going kayak fishing all the time, even more than we fish with a boat. So I love lake fishing, but I do have a special place for ponds and rivers because of kayaks and stuff.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We in high school, me and my buddy Cameron, we would go around because, his aunt had a pond. There was a pond behind my house, but there really wasn't much in it. And so we would get on Google Maps and we would just oh, there's some water there. Let's see what that is. And if it was on somebody's property, we'd just be like,
go knock.
Hey, so can we fish? And a lot of the time they'd be like, no. But we started this thing called the Bass Brigade.
The Bass Brigade.
Yeah, we were gonna be big time, and we took. Oh my gosh, because we fish almost every single day, and so we would, just with our little whatever I had, the iPhone 4 at the time or whatever, and we'd video stuff. We take pictures of the fish, but we can never get a video of us actually catching one.
Yeah.
And so I remember one time I'd be I was like, okay, man, take my phone and video me, but don't really get the water in it.
Yeah.
And I put my, I had a spinnerbait on, and I hooked it on a log. And I was acting like I was real. I was like, oh, it's a big one. And to try to make it look like it was a big fish or something like that.
That's awesome.
And I thought it was the coolest thing. I was like, oh, that was such a good idea. But looking back on it now, it was just... But we tried, man. We tried.
That's the Bass Brigade. Let's do merch.
Oh, and in the video, we made a little, little video. And I did the background, and my... 16-year-old voice, I was like, the Bass Brigade, and it so corny, but I was
find it?
All about it.
Is it out there somewhere? Is it still on YouTube?
We made an Instagram.
Oh gosh,
I don't know.
I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna find it. Insert clip here. If I found it, if I didn't, oops, sorry, but that'd be funny.
We were a big deal.
Yeah. The Bass Brigade.
The Bass Brigade.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
No, I remember I got out of fishing for a while, after, we sold our boat and we were doing kayaks because we got into more kind of whitewater stuff and just a little less fishing. But in college, I had a buddy who did have a boat, and we would go fishing quite often because he would do tournaments and stuff. So he needed the practice, and he didn't want to go by himself. So I'd go and help him get back in the boat or whatever and fish. But which always was bad if you you never want to beat the guy that you go with.
Yeah.
You never want to catch more fish than the guy that takes you.
You're not going next time.
Or else they end up stop asking you to go. Yeah, for sure. But which never happened. He was always a much better. I learned a lot from him, just putting us in the right spots. But it was always funny just hanging out. And, we'd go hang out in his parents' shop, just sit around in the boat and mess around with tackle and stuff, or spend way too much money on tackle.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, my garage is full of stuff. Especially,
I was looking at your reels earlier.
Yeah, especially when you have a buddy that works for a fishing lure company that's like, hey, try these. Here's some stuff. Here, try this. Here's this. And or when they give him incentives and like he doesn't fish, but he makes the lures. And so they'll give him incentives like, oh, you can pick anything out of this book that you want or whatever. And it's all these fishing lures. And he'll text me and be like, hey, what do you need?
I want to be friends with this guy.
I know, right? It's pretty nice. It's pretty awesome. But now I've got so much that I'm just like, yeah, this is great, but I don't have like a boat to put it in. Yeah. But I could fill a boat with all the stuff that I have now, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, it's so funny. So bass boats, pontoons, ski boat, what's your pick for a boat? If you were going to buy one, what would you pick?
Definitely bass boat.
What kind? Okay. We're going to hurt some feelings here. Some people are going to be like, oh, no, those things are crap.
Good grief.
Like a flat bottom, like a V bottom, or like a Skeeter or a Ranger.
I mean, it's hard to turn down a Skeeter.
Is it? I don't know. I've always heard like Rangers and Nitros are always kind of the things I've been in.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, if I could buy me a 21-foot Ranger, I ain't gonna be mad about it. Or even a Nitro, you know. That's what my dad had. He had a Nitro, but it was only like 18 foot or something. So it wasn't a huge one. But it was a good sized boat. Especially for what we need it for, you know?
Yeah.
And
I did a lot of my fishing growing up actually from a pontoon boat. Because my papi would take us night fishing and we'd put the little green lights in the water and all these minnows would just like circle around it. Yeah. And so, but yeah, a lot of it was, you know, pontoon fishing. I actually remember one time it was just me and him when we went. And, that's just the way my papi was. He was funny, but we were sitting there, and I was catching more than him. I was at the back of the boat, and he was at the front of the boat. And he's always been competitive. He would cheat at every single board game we played. And he'd be like, so how many you caught? And I'd tell him, he's like, well, you caught your limit. And so I'd just sit back there, and I'd get, like, sad, and I'd just sit there. And, like, 20 minutes later, he's like, what are you doing? I was like, you told me I caught my limit. And he just started busting up laughing. He said, get your pole and keep fishing. But
there is no limit. Keep going.
Yeah. So, I mean,
that's funny.
Probably out of a pontoon is when
pontoons are hard to beat, man. I mean, there's all around. You can do a whole bunch of stuff on it. I mean, I learned how to ski pretty much behind a pontoon boat, which is saying a lot. Like I was a lot smaller than I am now, but ski too. I mean, just hang out. Like pontoons are fun, and you can still fish off of them. But
I got a little scamp at my parents' house, and just a little trolling motor thing, and it works. But
it gets you out there. That's the main thing.
Out there. Yeah.
So now we're gonna move on to the big debate. Trucks.
Ooh.
Especially between the two of us, Ford versus Chevy.
Dude.
You drive?
I drive a Ford, 2011 Ford Lariat.
Yeah. And I drive a 2014 Silverado, Chevy Silverado, so.
And so.
You go
first.
Are you a Ford guy at heart? No. That's the question. No. Okay. No. That's the main thing.
And first truck was a 2001 GMC. Just a little single cab. And so I didn't really know anything else, you know. My dad, he drove a little Ford Ranger, but it's super old, and so I couldn't really get a good feel for what Ford was just from that. Well, when I bought my first truck, which was actually a little bit over a year ago, the Ford that I have now, it just ain't the same, man.
No.
I like it. It's a nice truck. Yeah. It's clean, and like it gets the job done. But I had to work on it recently, and so I've been driving my dad's Chevy around, and there's just a difference, man.
There is.
There's just a difference, and I don't know if it's because that's what I started out with.
Yeah.
But it just feels more tough and rugged. I'm definitely not a truck guy. You can open the hood and I can kind of know some stuff just because I've had to work on it. YouTube's pretty much taught me a lot of the stuff I know.
YouTube is our friend for sure.
Yeah, I can change oil and whatnot, but so I don't know I can't really have a too detailed conversation about it. I can just know what it feels like to drive each one of them.
Yeah.
And Chevy's just, it's got me.
So I recently wrecked my truck. I totaled my truck. It was not a fun.
That was a tough day.
That was a rough day.
Got to work. Really, where's Aaron at? Oh.
Yeah, I totaled my truck. Hummers go very fast and hit very hard, apparently, and so you can't really beat them out. They'll take your door off for sure.
Especially when you're going like 5 miles an hour,
especially when you're
going
rolling
50.
Across an intersection and they're going close to 60 miles an hour. It's a fun day and it's a life experience. I don't think anybody really wants to have, but
a few
there's definitely a
visits
few of
after
us.
that.
Yeah, no joke. The chiropractor looks at you and goes, "Man, that probably was not fun." And you're like, "No, it wasn't." But so when I started looking for trucks, one of the trucks I was going to look at and thought that I was going to buy was the exact same truck that Logan has. And so I pull up to the dealership and we're talking about it. And he goes, "Hey, I've got a Silverado down at my other shop if you want to drive down there. And we'll take this Ford, drive it down there, and then you can drive both of them back because I need it back here anyways." And I go, "Okay, sweet. Sounds good. Let's do it." So I jump in that Ford and we drive down there and I'm like, I've had Toyotas, I've had Chevys, I've had GMCs, but I've never had a Ford. And so, I get in it and I'm kind of driving around. And my rental car at the time was a Ford, but it was a Ford Escape. So it was like a mom car. It looked like a soccer mom driving around. But it was a 2020. So like it was blown out, all the bells and whistles and everything, like and anything you could imagine. Super nice versus a 2011 Ford F-150 with like a standard package on it. No fancy packages or anything. So I drive it down and we look at the Chevy and he opens the door and my jaw just hit the floor and I was like, there's just something about it feels like home to me. I mean, I get in it and I go, "Yeah, I'll take it." And he goes, "This one?" He goes, "You came to look at the Ford." And I was like, "Yeah, it's not going home with me. I got to take this one with me." And I buy it like a week later.
And don't get me wrong, I really, really like my Ford and I've been super happy with it.
Yeah.
But I just kind of know now. You know, they're both good trucks.
They're both great. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it's not really going to make a huge difference. It's really about just like what feels better at the time. And for me, man, it was hard to pass up that Chevy. Plus, the Chevy was like a lot nicer package. And so the only thing I don't have is I don't have 4-wheel drive. But I've never had 4-wheel drive. And I've gone some pretty sketchy places. And I've had to be pulled out a few times. Don't get me wrong. My old Tacoma, I had a 2002 Tacoma when they were still real small.
Tacomas are good trucks, man.
Oh, it was awesome. I mean, I ran that thing into the ground and still, it always took a beating. But I used to get stuck a lot in that Tacoma. But also in high school, like driving around a lot of places I should not have been driving in.
Oh, well, sure. Well, sure.
But yeah, so I always think about think about what I want to do to my truck. So what do you want to do? You got some like project lists on your truck?
Oh, dude, I got pictures. I got
shopping lists, things saved.
Yeah, I just need the money, dude. But
I know, yeah, no joke.
No, so my truck's black, and so it's 35s are the biggest tire you can put on it, and I don't want this huge old jacked up something or another. I just want it off the ground a little bit, maybe a 2 to 3 inch lift, just with bigger tires on it. And man, I want to black it out. I've never blacked out a truck. The GMC I had was white and it had chrome rims, and I really liked it. But man, I just got a vision for it, and I want it, and I want to tint my windows.
It's hard to do piece by piece, and that's the thing. I'm so bad at projects like that because I'm really bad about starting a project like that and then just being like, nope, buy everything at one time, make yourself broke, and live off ramen noodles for the next month.
Hey, ramen noodles are good though. It's okay.
I'm that bad about gun projects. Oh, yeah, it's bad.
Yeah,
like I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna buy the AR lower, and then I'm going to slowly piece it together until I have my full rifle. Or I'll buy this rifle and like slowly start buying stuff for it. You start clicking, Amazon buy, Amazon buy, Amazon buy, and like, oh, it's all here. Okay, now I have a full gun. Yep. Now let's go do it again.
Yeah. You know? Oh, that was exciting. Let's do it again.
Yeah. Like for mine, I really want to do exhaust on mine because all my trucks have always had like loud exhaust, and it's like you can hear it. Like when you step on it, you can hear it. And my truck right now, like an older guy had it before me, like so I call it my Gramps truck sometimes because it's all chromed out, which I hate. I'm not a chrome guy at all. And so he's got the big old like stock runners that are chrome and chrome like grill and everything, and it's just not necessarily my style.
Yeah.
But it's quiet. It's a V8 and it's quiet. And I'm like, no. When I step on the gas, I want to hear, whoa.
Loud and proud, baby. Yeah.
I want people to know I'm there, you know. But, so that's one thing I would do. I mean, you know, I've already got 10 on my truck, but seat covers on the inside. Like I've always seen the like fitted ones that are camoed out. Like, that's sick.
They make some good ones. Just don't go cheap. I went cheap in my GMC and it didn't.
They last for a little while, but like the ones I've always had, they always rip, and then they're always
come out.
Yeah, it's always more of a hassle than it is a help. And unless your seat's ripped, I don't recommend it.
Yeah, in which the leather in my Ford in my driver's seat, you know, where you get out of it, it's starting to come
feather
apart, and I'm just like, no.
That's why, like, since mine's still so new, I've really been thinking about doing it now
before it gets to that point.
Way I've got the seat covers, and I've always got the seat covers, and like spend the money now and just let them ride out, and you'll get your money's worth out of it.
Yeah. But hey, what are your views on lowering trucks? Because I've got some friends that they'll see a truck and it's like run like this down the street, and they're that's awesome.
It makes me so angry. There's a couple guys here in Fort Smith that have lowered dualies.
What's the point?
Like totally slammed, like they're on the ground, but they've got dualies with mud tires.
With mud tires?
One of them has mud tires, like has some like thick old like ATV treads. And it's lowered, like just totally bottomed out. Like you can tell they had to probably cut the frame. It's so low.
That should be against the wall.
And it's a double cab long bed dually. So it looks like a boat, like an old school like Cadillac boat. I mean, but it's a dually. I'm like, why would you do that? Like you cannot do anything with it now. Like you put anything in the bed, you're gonna bottom out. You've got to roll over speed bumps if you can even go over them.
Why? What's the point?
I don't understand it.
A dually. I mean, like it'd be cheaper to get something else. Yeah. If you want to lower it and not use it as
what and new trucks. Like one of them is a 2020, 2021, and they've got lowered out. I'm like,
I mean, why? I guess if you got
but
money
at the same time, I also am against like skyscrapers.
Yeah.
Like there is such thing as too tall, and I'm that's pointless. You're just sitting there killing gas.
Yes.
I mean,
and I'm pretty sure like the higher you go on a truck, it wears down faster. That's why I'm not trying to go like super high because there's no point.
I'd love for mine to be a little taller, and I'd love some bigger tires, knobbier tires on mine.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I want something I can still get in and out of, and I want something that my girlfriend can get in and out of. I don't want something that like I've got to carry a step stool for someone else to get in, or I've got to jump into or something, you know.
Yeah, I'm just trying to ninja move off the tire.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't get that. No. Unless you're driving a monster truck. And if you do, and if that's what you want, man, go for it, you know. If you're going to do the whole like mutter or whatever and you're going to competition it out, that's fine. Yeah. But if it's your daily driver and you've got like a 2-foot lift on it and, you know, racing suspension, it's like, man, no, just go home. Like, go park it and go get your... My favorite thing is so many of those guys have like a second car, like a little like Nissan Altima or something. Like they've got a Toyota Corolla from 2002 that's their daily because they can't drive the other one because they can't afford it. You can't afford tires on it.
And if I didn't use my truck, then, you know, I could see maybe doing something super, super custom to it.
Yeah.
But...
Oh, no, I'd love to have like a hunting rig.
Oh, yeah.
Like I'd love to have like an old K5 Chevy or something, or even like a Bronco, like an old school Bronco.
Yeah. Maybe some kind of... Even like a Trailblazer or something like that.
Yeah. Just as a hunting rig, just as a beater, like, don't care. As long as it starts and drives, let's go, you know.
Swing through a mud hole
that's also
quick.
that's also why you need side-by-sides in your life, though.
Yeah.
So what's your dream truck? If you could have any truck in the world right now, what would you have?
Man, I'm a big fan of the high countries.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I just think they're...
Yeah.
They're super nice. And, I know that, they make the big... I liked Ford Super Duties are nice, King Ranches and stuff like that.
Okay. The new Fords, 2020, 2021 Ford F-250s, the square ones, the square bodies. I'm all for the looks of it.
Yeah.
And I'm not a Ford guy at all. I really generally don't like Fords.
Yeah.
But like that squared off look, like the old school style, please let that come back around. Chevy, please bring that back too, because that looks so much better than this rounded off stuff.
Yeah,
and that's part of why I bought mine, because 2014 is like one of the last years they had that kind of square look to it.
Yeah, that front end was more.
Yes, and the wheel wells are more square than rounded. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's how my dad has one like that, and I was driving. I was like, man, this is just nice. Like my hood is like right here. Yeah, and it just. Yeah, I feel like I can just
go anywhere, do anything. Yeah, I think I would either have like a 2021 F-250 or something, like one of the big squared bodies, or I still love they released the 2022 Chevy Silverado the other day. Have you seen the pictures of those yet?
I haven't seen it yet. I'm gonna look it up right now.
Oh my goodness. I always thought the newest body style looks pretty good. It took a little while for me to like it. It really did, just because it's so round. But they released the new ones and new colors for them. I'm not a huge blue fan, but the blue that they have on it is absolutely legit. It is super, super cool.
Those?
I think so. Like, they're awesome. And the new motors and stuff that they're putting in, they're super cool. Dude. Now, also, we're talking, though, that truck's going to be $100,000. Yeah. Like, trucks today are I feel like they're so expensive.
Even for used ones, man.
I paid so much for my 2014. I'm like, my goodness, how can you... And the whole truck market right now is totally messed up. Given when I sold my Tacoma a year ago, I got way more out of it than what I had bought it for. But we bought it in a low period and sold it in a high period. And so, the seller's market. But you still, it's crazy what used cars will go for now.
Is this it?
No.
Okay, I was about to say, dude, that looks like
that's
much like a Raptor, man.
That's a concept car. That was probably one of their drawings.
No.
But they're insane. But they look, it's the same type of body style, but it's more aggressive.
Did you know they're making Ford's making an F-150 that's not running on gas? It's going to be
They make the electric, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Chevy's doing one too this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's good. If you understand the eco-friendly side of it, it's not. It's no better than in the grand scheme of things. It is no better than a gas car. If we're talking about emissions.
Yeah.
And to me, it's just one of those, like, at some point, I have no doubt they will be more popular than the gas cars. Yeah. And I understand that, and that's fine. Whatever. I'm not against them by any means. But, like, right now, if I want to go across country, like, we live in the South.
Yeah.
I heard a guy the other day talking about, because the battery... like how far you can go on one, and he was saying it was however many miles it was, like 500 miles on a full battery or something like that, which is great, more than a gas car. But in Texas, you can't drive from power station to power station on that amount of battery.
Really?
Yeah, like if you were going from like Dallas to like New Mexico, like if you're trying to drive out there or something, you could not do it. Because there's not another battery station. So you'd have to stop at a hotel or something, or a random place, and plug it into a wall outlet.
Charge my truck real quick.
Which is going to be way slower, and it's going to take you longer. So it's one of those like, okay, this is like...
Yeah.
It's great, but at the same time, it's one of those like, okay, how much are you really getting here?
Let's do a pros and cons.
In the South, it's just not as much. If I lived in California, yeah, all for it.
Yeah.
And I think Teslas are super cool. Like, I really do like some of the Tesla cars.
Yeah. It's throwing me off seeing these Tesla stations at the Casey's right down my house. I'm just like,
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's super cool. But they're so uncommon right now that it's hard to do. Like, just as a daily driver, I probably could do it. But... I don't know. Like the Sportster S, the Tesla I think it's Sportster S. That's like their muscle car version, like that Joe Rogan has, and he talks about like those things look insane. Like when you actually kick it, because I mean, the way that they can spin the motor up and everything and just go, like there is no like transmission, everything flowing through. It's just like a RC car. It just goes, you know. Yeah.
That's
it's
cool.
nuts. But
That's cool.
It's pretty crazy. All right, so favorite part of the week.
Woo!
Top fives. Top fives. So this week we're gonna kind of. I love not making these things have anything to do with the episode. Like it's just totally random. Like change of scene. Like, so fast food. Now, before we get into it, let's restate the rules. We can't say the same thing.
Oh no.
So if like I pick one.
Wait. We can't say the same thing on the same number, or we can't say the same thing in the top.
We can't have the same top 5 list.
Okay. I mean, I can. Yeah.
So if I take one, it's off the table. If you take one, it's off the table. So I had to make sure I had more than 5 to make sure that you don't take any of my top 5. So, you got your phone? Ask Siri to flip a coin. Hold your phone up to the mic so she can hear it too.
Can you not talk? Flip a coin.
Heads.
I don't have an answer for that. Is there something else I can help with?
I got a penny in my pocket.
Okay, let's flip that then. Let's
found
do that.
it on the ground earlier.
All was heads up?
I don't remember.
Oh, come on. How do you not look?
Sorry. All right, so we got heads, tails.
Yeah.
All right. Call it in the air.
All right, tails.
It's heads.
All right, you go first. This is funny. He's a professional coin flipper. Did anybody know that? Do you flip coins at games?
I don't do it. The white hat does it. The main man does it.
When are you going to be a white hat?
I don't know if I want to, man. Because really, like, they have to do so much extra work.
Yeah.
They have to contact the schools, you know, get the crew ready and stuff like that, figure out the travel. And they do all, like, the calls and everything like that, but they don't get paid anything extra. So it's almost kind of not worth it.
Yeah, don't do that. No.
Yeah. So I can just
That's funny, though.
back there and throw my flag
I do
at
want to go to a
receivers.
game to heckle you, though.
Do it, man. My buddy
so
Haley
funny.
came to a little junior high game. He called me Robo-Ref because I wear my knee brace.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. But
all
okay,
right,
dude.
so top 5. What is your number one? What are you going for first?
You probably already know. Chick-fil-A, man.
Chick-fil-A. I figured I did not put it on my top 5 intentionally because I knew it would go so fast.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to take the other one then. I'm going to take Taco Bell.
Okay. That's fine. That's fine.
I mean, you can't beat Taco Bell. There is nothing. I mean, that is the place I go to when I can't think of what I want to eat. I'm just I'll just run through Taco Bell real quick.
Yeah, and it's dude their value meal and their
the
$5
$5 boxes, man.
Oh shoot!
I mean, can you eat $6 and you can get an extra taco too?
Oh yeah,
you can't beat it. I mean,
dude,
come on now.
What's your favorite thing on the menu?
Oh my gosh, I love Crunchwrap Supremes.
Okay, those are very good.
Yeah.
Dude, I love the cheesy gordita crunches.
Yeah, they're very good too.
Gosh, man. Yep. Really anything.
It's good. I may have that today.
Yeah, man. So we got Chick-fil-A and Taco Bell. So my number 2, it's actually not around here.
Uh-oh. Let's hear it.
I think maybe the closest one, I think is in Tennessee or something like that.
Okay.
And I know it's probably not that popular where it's at, but because I've only been to it a couple times.
Yep.
Bojangles.
Okay.
Have you heard of Bojangles chicken?
Yeah.
Yeah, they got a thing. It's called a Bowberry biscuit.
Yeah.
It's a biscuit with blueberries in it, and they cover it like with the kind of like the
icing.
Yeah, I don't know. I could think
Hardee's used to have that too.
Really?
Yeah, I would get that a lot on the way to school.
Dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Bojangles is solid. So that's my number 2.
Oh, you just made me. I gotta change mine now. That's funny. I just thought of one that I gotta change. That's funny. Okay, so my number 2 is also
not around here.
Not around here. The closest one I think is in Dallas. That's the closest one I've been to. That's the one I've been to the most. In-N-Out Burger.
In-N-Out Burger. Yeah, that's good.
It's good stuff.
That's
man.
not on my top 5, but
it's
definitely
good.
could be.
And cheap. I mean, because they're only like a couple things on the menu. I love that. I love it when there's only like 2 or 3 things.
Yep.
Like that is one downside of Taco Bell is there's so much stuff on their menu.
Yeah.
And it's all the same. It's a tortilla and beef and cheese, and that's it.
You
or
want chicken or beef?
All right, what's your number 3?
Man, my number 3's got to be Brahms, dude. I love
a local
me some
favorite.
Brahms.
I mean, because it's pretty regional.
Yeah.
It's only around here. Good
dude.
best ice cream. I mean,
Man,
so good.
I'll dip my burger in their Brahms sauce, man.
Yes.
And that's like the only burger where I can put like, I'm fine with onions and pickles and everything being on it. Usually I'm like, no onions, no pickles, no mustard. Yeah. But with Brahms Burger, something about it, man, I'm just like, throw it all on there. Kitchen sink and everything.
Yeah, they're good. Big, hearty burgers, too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, good. All right, so my next one is also a semi-regional thing. Slim's Chicken.
Slim's Chicken or Slim Chickens? I used to get it confused all the time.
Slims. I don't know. I guess I don't know.
It is Slims.
Slims.
I used to call it Slim Chickens.
Oh, yeah. I usually just call it Slims, but
yeah. It's good.
I mean, it's one of my favorite chicken joints.
Yeah. I like their, what's that? It's some kind of ranch sauce that they have or something.
Cayenne Ranch.
That's it.
Oh, man. Cayenne Ranch or Slim sauce. I like both. I gotta kind of mix it up sometimes.
Dude, it's kind of down the road. I might go there on my way home.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, man. That's a good job. Good job. Okay. My next one. Well, it was Taco Bell.
Oh.
But, we see how that goes.
Yep.
And so I'm going to replace that one with Cane's. And I know I get a lot of backlash when I say that I really like Cane's, but the first time I had Cane's was when we had that United, when I came with Chris and stuff like that.
Okay.
And it just opened down here. And I never went to Fayetteville, or I never ate at the one in Fayetteville.
Yeah.
But their sauce, their Cane's sauce is, you can put it side by side with the Brahms sauce.
Yeah.
You can't tell the difference.
It's the same as Slim sauce too.
Really?
Yeah. It's all basically the same.
It's
different amount. There's a little spicier, I think, a little more horseradish in it, I think. But yeah, same stuff.
Yeah. I'd actually have to move that. No, I'll just keep it there. Yeah, so that's mine. Cane's is good.
It's okay. I mean, I had this argument with my girlfriend Darcy the other day because she was saying how much she misses it. And I'm like, it's okay. It's bigger pieces of chicken, but I always feel like it's like less quality chicken.
Yeah.
Because I always feel like I get more like fatty pieces or like tissue and just nah. See, and their fries, they won't cook their fries any longer than what they already do. And so I always feel like they're soggy. I like a crunchy fry. Like I like a well done fry, not
See, I don't. I'm not a big crunchy guy. I don't like crunchy tacos. I don't like crunchy fries. I'm not a big chip fan. I'll eat them if I'm still hungry and stuff like that. But
yeah.
But see, I like their chicken better than Slim's, but I like Slim's fries and sauces better.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so next on my list, another thing that we don't have here in Fort Smith, but that I still just love, Panda Express. Have you ever had it?
Dude, I don't think I have actually.
It's good. I mean, Chinese food to go. Normally you would be like, questionable, but no, it's very, very good. I mean, it really is. I enjoy it.
Where's the closest one?
I think there's one in Fayetteville.
Really?
Yeah. It's not bad.
I might have to go.
But yeah, it's good stuff. And there's a bunch in Memphis too. I mean,
yeah.
It's good stuff.
Tear some Chinese food for sure.
Oh, I love their what's the shrimp? It's honey shrimp, I think. Honey shrimp. Yeah, it's good.
Dude, I'm a big shrimp guy. Oh, Red Lobster has like the Monday night endless shrimp or whatever.
Oh, we should go tear that up.
Let's do it. My last one, number 5. And I hadn't really started liking it until probably about a year ago.
Yeah.
But Firehouse, and it's so overlooked, man. They just got
I didn't even think about it.
Sandwiches.
I love Firehouse.
Good subs.
I got so tired of eating Subway. We used to eat Subway a lot as a kid, and I don't like the cold cut, I guess.
Okay.
I'd rather have like the Firehouse steamed sandwich and everything. Like, so much better. I mean, yes, I love Firehouse. So, if I have it once, it gets me in trouble because then I'll just keep wanting it and wanting it. Oh, my mouth is watering.
What's that sauce?
Their Firehouse sauce?
Church, is it just a Firehouse sauce?
Yeah, it's their Firehouse sauce.
Oh, that stuff is good.
Yeah, it's what is it called? Like pepper sauce or something, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good. I mean, drink that stuff by itself, man.
Oh, dude, man. Yeah. I really like Subway too. Like the chicken teriyaki is solid.
I would rather have Jimmy John's.
I've never had Jimmy John's, man.
I love Jimmy John's. I'm convinced that I was the one keeping it open here for so long because I was the only one that was ever there.
Yeah.
But I was there all the time. Oh, man, I miss Jimmy John's.
My roommate, he loves Long John Silver. So I'm like, dude.
I still got one more,
How is that place even open? It's because of you.
Yeah, probably so. All right, so my last one. I'm surprised it has not gotten taken yet. But Whataburger. Oh, really?
Yeah, it's kind of like the one in Russellville. I like that one.
Okay. That is technically not the same thing. It is, but it isn't. It was originally the same people, but it was like the McDonald's story. Mm-hmm. Like it was one of the brothers or something that split off. So that's not the same as the chain. Now, the one in Russellville, I do really love because it is just that hometown, like Whataburger, like hometown kind of old restaurant feel. Yeah. But the chain Whataburger is a little bit different. I mean, a honey butter chicken biscuit in the morning, man. Whoa, their breakfast is killer.
I haven't had their.
I mean, they've got their burgers are good. I'd rather have it over McDonald's like 10 times over. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Their fries are just as good. I mean, yeah. If we had them, I would be there all the time over McDonald's.
I can do McDonald's as long as it's before like 8. Anything like in the night, it just sits.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not a huge McDonald's fan. I mean, I love the fries, and I eat McDonald's fairly, often, but just because it's there. Yeah. That's the main thing is it's just there.
I got the McDonald's app, and they got the daily deals. I'm like, you can't beat the 99-cent large caramelized coffee.
Yep. Or, I do like their...
free large fries and everything
breakfast
like that.
Or bacon, egg, and cheese, or sausage, egg, cheese biscuits.
I'll get a McGriddle.
I'm not a McGriddle fan.
You're not?
No. Something about the texture, I just can't do it. I'm just not a huge fan.
I got you.
But yeah, I also in my top 5 had Sonic. Hard to beat Sonic. Mm-hmm. I mean, just the drinks alone.
Yep.
It's hard to beat.
Yep.
Popeyes.
Oh, Popeyes is
I love
good.
Popeyes. I mean, Popeyes chicken, so good with the blackened ranch.
The blackened ranch, man. Get
those
fries. The spicy original.
Spicy.
Got to.
Yeah, you got to.
Got to.
I mean, the original is just like, meh, whatever. Yeah. Spicy.
A little bit of flavor.
At. And it's not spicy.
Oh, they have these, man, I don't even, baguettes.
The baguettes.
Is that how you say it? Dude, those are...
Beignets.
Beignets, yeah.
Yeah, beignets.
Yeah, it's cool. They put the powdered sugar in, they shake it up.
Yeah. They're good.
Very good. If you haven't tried it, try it.
And then my last honorable mention was Chipotle.
Chipotle.
I do love Chipotle.
I've ate it once.
Really?
Once.
There's a restaurant in Conway. I can't think of the name of it right now. But it's like Chipotle. It's the same concept, but it's just like a small town Mexican restaurant, and it's so much better and it's so much cheaper.
It's in Conway?
Yeah, it's really, really good.
Noted.
Yeah. If my friend Caleb's watching, he's the one that always took me.
Okay.
And he probably is, hopefully. But we would go down there, and like he said he would probably go 2 or 3 times a week.
Yeah.
I mean, just because it's clean food. I mean, it's just good.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. So top 5.
That's it.
And man stuff, man. I think we could have talked about.
Yeah, there's so much.
We could do a full episode just on hunting, and we may. That's one. We should go do a remote video, in the truck bed or something.
Oh, dude, that'd be so cool.
I had some more ideas last night. We got to talk about some off location stuff.
Oh, that'd be cool, man. Yeah. We've already done some videos in the back of a truck. We can do it for a podcast.
Keep doing truck bed videos. That'd be funny.
Yeah. But that's it.
That's it, man. That's what we got. That's what we got for this week. We'll see everybody next week, and see you later.
See ya.
Thanks for listening to the Good Dudes Podcast.
To stay up to date with everything going on, follow us on all social media platforms at the Good Dudes Podcast, and we'll see you in the next one.